Oh, hi. Glad you could join me again. Again, I'm going to watch a movie today. And here's the interesting thing. We're finally in spring. Living here in the Midwest, living here in the small town in Indiana, spring finally came. We never thought winter would end. But it also means change in weather. We occasionally do get some heavy storms. And another thing, you ever have that movie that you love to watch and you like it, but you know what? You know that this is a really stupid movie and that it's really, really bad, but somehow you just love it for what it is. Well, that's what we're going to watch today. Because what am I talking about? The 1996 disaster flick. That's a classic. Twister. Yeah. This movie, a movie that is so bad, it's fun to watch. And now, of course, I'll watch the film. Then I'll come back and give you my thoughts about the film, what I think about it, and about some of the statistics about the film. So, if you're willing, get yourself, go put this on pause, go get the DVD or whatever, watch it, and then resume this video. And yeah, so we'll go from there.
Even as the seasons change, nature moves within itself, its colossal power and its delicate beauty in perfect harmony, perfectly, cosmically sane. Though periodically, nature will, in a kind of psychotic fit, go completely, randomly mad.
It's okay. Here it now. It's all right. We're just gonna close.
We need to get down to Stormville right now.
Okay.
Come on, Don.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right, let's go. All right, here we go, sweetie.
Hurry.
Here we go.
You don't have a cellar or basement, build the center part of your house.
So, Twister, where do we begin? This is an enjoyable movie for me, just because looking back on it, I realized just how dumb the dialogue is. The dialogue is very, very laughable in this movie. Some of the famous quotes some of the most famous quotes from this movie. I think we're going in. Debris. We got debris. Where? Oh, stuff like that. And the personal favorite, the extreme. Oh yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman at his character Dusty, just calling Bill Paxton the extreme. And there's no point in saying that Bill Paxton's character, what his name is, it's Bill. Because, it's Bill and Joe. Oh, geez. This movie came at a time when special effects were really starting to take a hold of the movie-going public. This was right after Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park came out in 93, Twister came out in 96. So Hollywood was really starting to push things because of digital technology to push it into doing things that we had never seen before. So, that being said, you get movies like Twister. Movie that uses completely computer-generated tornadoes. But the interesting thing is that the movie was so popular, the critics couldn't figure out why people went to go see it. But then it dawned on them that people went to go see it for the special effects. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. The budget for this film was $90 million. It took $70 million to shoot the film, and another $20 million was going into post-production at Industrial Light and Magic. With the total gross of this film being $495 million worldwide. Yeah. That is worldwide numbers. I could not find the domestic numbers for the U.S., but it was huge. And it was like I said, it was at a time when Hollywood was really pushing to see what they could get on screen that nobody had ever seen before. It's pretty big. And the film was a co-production between Universal Pictures, Warner Brothers Pictures, and Amblin Entertainment. Now, how that works usually is, like here in the U.S., Warner Brothers was the distributor of the film. And now both studios financed the film, usually putting up about half each. And so Warner Brothers distributed the film here in the U.S., while Universal distributed the film internationally. And so, but they still get co-credit. And with Amblin Entertainment, who had done work for both studios, they did not have a problem coming together for this film. And this, of course, was right after Jurassic Park. And so, with Jurassic Park being a huge success, you start looking around, okay, what else can we do that's going to, blow audiences' minds? Well, let's make another movie. It's very, very similar to Jurassic Park, but with tornadoes. Yeah, and they were big at the time of its original release, saying that from the producers of Jurassic Park. And they hired Jan de Bont, who was a former director of photography, was the director of photography for several films throughout the 80s and early 90s. Films like The Hunt for Red October, Die Hard, films like that. But his directorial debut was with the film Speed, with Keanu Reeves, and Speed was a fairly successful picture at the time. So let's get somebody at Amblin, I don't know if it was Kathleen Kennedy or Spielberg, who said, "Hey, let's get that guy who directed Speed to do this. This is more up his alley." And voila, you get this masterpiece. And yeah, it's one, like I said, it's one of those movies that it's poorly written, but doggone it, I have so much fun watching it. You know, the dialogue is so terrible. Like the whole scene, we find out why they call Bill Paxton character the Extreme, is just so, oh geez, it's so silly. I mean, he shows up naked and chucks a bottle of Jack Daniels into the tornado and it never touches the ground. Oh boy. But as you can see, that didn't stop me from double dipping on this movie. Matter of fact, I triple dipped on this movie, but I ended up trading the DVD off for the Blu-ray version. Several years ago, Best Buy had upgrade and save, and so I took my old DVD copy of Twister and got the Blu-ray version. But I do have the old VHS version, which was THX certified. That was a big deal back in the 90s. Yeah. And this is one of those films that has generated a little bit of I don't want to say infamous, but it definitely it had a reputation at the time that it played. There was a couple of instances where where a couple of movie theaters, I could not tell you I forget where these movie theaters were, but the film played. This film takes place in Oklahoma, and so there was a movie theater. There was a couple of movie theaters. I remember specifically at the time of the film's release when it was playing. One of them was a drive-in theater, and the drive-in theater was completely demolished. But however, the film was nobody was there, and so the film was not playing. Nobody got hurt, but they were going to play the film that night. But unfortunately, patrons never got to see Twister on the drive-in screen because it got destroyed that night. And there was another instance where a movie theater, and I do forget where these locations were. It was located in a shopping center or a shopping mall or someplace like that. Was playing the film, and a tornado came and destroyed the shopping center, left the movie theater alone playing the film. Yeah. Just one of those things, and I remember my little brother, and at the time he was scared to death to watch this movie, because after watching those stories about those movie theaters being destroyed while playing Twister, or while Twister was playing, he thought that if we rented a Twister and watched it, that a tornado would come by and take us out, but. No, but yeah, it's one of these movies that it was definitely a period of the decade. Like I said, it was the only reason why it was a success was because of special effects. And you know, it's not like people complain now where there's too much CGI. Back then, we couldn't get enough of it. You know, the American audiences were wanting to see something new, and you know, films like Terminator 2, Jurassic Park set the bar so high in terms of special effects that the studios were saying, "Hey, what else can you do?" and then it just got out of hand. By the late '90s, by '99, 2000, pretty much everybody was saying, okay, it's just another special effects movie. It's a movie of its time. A movie like this, I don't think would ever get made today. The closest thing that they made was a film a few years ago called Into the Storm. And it was also released by Warner Brothers, but that was Twister on steroids. I mean, they had, first of all, the ending tornado in that film, what happens in Twister can happen. They did not sugarcoat anything with Twister except for the fact, it was that the director, or the not the director, but the cast was, I don't want to say they were completely safe, but they were running away from mostly nothing. They were running away from debris being shot out of air cannons or jet engine, and while everything was put in by computer graphics. Well, with Into the Storm, which is, I know I'm going off Twister, but Into the Storm, they created what was known as the EF6 tornado, which has yet to appear, folks. The Vegeta scale does go up that high, but however, the EF6 has yet to appear. And Twister, the climax tornado, the tornado at the end, is an EF5. That has been seen. Matter of fact, where I live, here in Indiana, we have had them. They've had at least they've had a couple of them, and there have been some very catastrophic results because of it. I mean, it just mows over everything. But yeah, Twister. It all starts with Twister. And oh boy, it's still a fun movie to watch. It's, oh boy, it just amazes me, and let me get back to the special effects here in this movie. Yeah, the special effects are a little dated. In terms of the graphics and how everything looks, it looks a little pixelated. But, at the time that was big. But however, they did get a few things right, because I have seen funnel clouds come down. I've never seen a tornado on the ground moving, but I have seen funnel clouds. And a funnel cloud, now, for those of you who don't know anything about this, it's not considered a tornado until it actually touches the ground. While it's still up in the air, you see that funnel cloud, it's considered a funnel cloud. It's not until the tornado actually touches the ground that it becomes a tornado. It can even do damage, but it's not considered a tornado until that cloud touches the ground. But I have seen them. I've seen the funnel clouds, and it's just like right out of this movie. They did a really, really good job of depicting on how the tornadoes form and how they dissipate. It's like someone just turns them off. Just like in the movie, it just stops and goes up. That's it. I mean, they did a really, really good job of getting the characteristics of a tornado down. But you know, but also Twister falls into the category of disaster films, in which they've been making disaster films for several years, and we will still see disaster films to come. But yeah, Twister, today's movie. Yeah, and I think I mentioned that. Yeah, just the little things that it's a Warner Brothers release. Now Universal distributed the film internationally. It was a co-production, but here in the U.S. it's Warner Brothers. Outside the U.S. it is Universal. So, from me to you, see you later.